I've been producing full-time for a year now, and let me tell you, my mindset has completely changed from where I started. I used to think success was about finding the right niche and selling loads of beats from YouTube, but I can safely say there's a lot more to it than that. I'm breaking down the biggest mindset shifts that I had to make, what worked, what didn't, and what I wish I knew earlier. If you're serious about taking your production career to the next level, this one's for you. The first realization that I had is that it's not just hard work that will get you there. It's hard work applied to the right things. I thought at the start that if I put a certain amount of work in, if I work hard, then I will inevitably start earning money from producing music. But that isn't quite the case. You could put hours and hours of work in as a self-employed music producer, because there's always something for you to do. But if you're working away at the wrong things, not even the wrong things, just in the wrong way. An example could be you're making content and working to try and upload 3 or 4 videos every single day, but the content you're making isn't optimized for social media or for your audience, or in a way which will actually help you grow or give any value to your audience. Then that hard work doesn't really mean much. So what that means is you have to learn where to channel that hard work. Be educated in how to grow as a producer, what techniques to use for social media and actually making music, and work hard while actually educating yourself and not just blindly working. The second thing I've realized, and you can kind of only come to realize this after a certain amount of time, is to avoid spreading yourself too thin. At the start, I was trying as many different things out as I could. Stock licensing websites, sending beats for placements, making social media content, making these YouTube videos, uploading beats to marketplaces and YouTube, trying to sell on Fiverr, trying to get sync licensing. There are so many different facets to music production that if you tried them all, you wouldn't be able to commit enough time to a single one to actually make anything from it or to actually get anywhere with it. So obviously at the start, it's great to try different things out, see what you want to pursue and what you think there is the most potential in pursuing for you, because it's different for everyone. But there comes a point where it's not worth your time to try all these different things out. Then to focus down on a few different avenues, I found is the best way to do it, because that way you're able to make more of a move in that particular avenue. You can understand it more and learn more from it because you're spending more time on it, and ultimately that will lead you to being more likely to earn from it. It's hugely important to have multiple streams of income as a producer, so don't get that twisted. I'm very conscious of that, but multiple streams of income can exist without you having to try every single different available option to a music producer all at the same time. I've had to adapt and change where I put my focus, and that's also a really important thing, to be able to adapt. But that's different because you're trying a few different income streams available and then finding if they're not working, moving to something else rather than doing everything at once. My mindset has also changed in how I view myself and the producing landscape as a self-employed freelance music producer. I now have to treat music like a proper business with strategy, investing, and all the rest of it. Now that may not be what a lot of you want to hear, because it's all about the art. And if that is you, then that's absolutely fine and you're completely entitled to feel that way. It's important to protect your music as art, because otherwise if you don't, the soul will leave it. However, I found that you really have to think like a business in terms of growing as a music producer and trying to build an income. Because if we put it in simple terms, your music is a product, or at least the feeling attached to your music is a product. You're the person or company trying to sell that product, so you're a business. That's not necessarily a bad thing though, because it means you can be a lot more strategic in your thinking. Really create a plan for how you're going to grow, where you're going to target to try and build an income, who your audience is on social media, what you can bring to them, what value, etc. When you start thinking like a business, you start to give yourself more of a chance to see a lot of growth. Of course, it's about balance. You absolutely cannot forget that music is the most important thing. It's the absolute foundation to everything else being built off. So it has to be good. So you don't want to suffocate the music making process and the enjoyment of it with all the strategy and business thinking. It's important to be able to have both. And for me, that comes down to time management. A big shift that's also happened in my mind is that before becoming full-time, my aim was just to suddenly blow up. Although that's fine if that happens, and I won't complain if it happens now. For me, it's about slowly building up an audience, a customer base, and my skills as a producer. Why? Well, these success stories of 17-year-olds who blow up and earn a full-time income from music in the space of like 3 months is great, but it's much more realistic, much more rewarding, much more sustainable if the build-up is slower and steady, and takes you figuring it out, working hard and slowly improving. Spending time focusing on building things up day by day brings way more value to each day. And it's a lot less draining than, say, if you were trying to blow up and you were posting content, and every time a piece of content didn't blow up, you got emotionally invested into it and you were so disappointed and annoyed when it didn't. That's a lot more draining. My aim now is to create multiple income streams and build them up slowly, because that way they're much more reliable long term than if you had a great month on social media, people discovered you, you sold loads of beats, then the next month your content doesn't perform nearly at the same level. That income is suddenly gone. Now that leads me to my last sort of big mindset change, which was the realization that being a music producer is the wrong job if you want something that's stable. Now, of course, I knew that being a music producer wasn't the most stable job in the world, but I don't think I quite understood just how unstable it is, especially at the start. Kind of linking back to the first realization that my income from music isn't necessarily just going to correlate with the amount of work that I put in. I thought it would just become stable. Of course, over many years and years, and when you reach that top level as a producer, that is the case, but that's certainly the minority of producers. And I've even heard from people more experienced than me in the production genre, and just not even exclusive to music, just freelancers in general. Even when your income is more stable, your mind sometimes doesn't allow you to believe it, and you're thinking about what happened if it all stops next month. Where's the next job coming from? Maybe it never comes. So that instability is present throughout a lot longer than I thought. So those are some big mindset changes that I've had over the course of being full-time as a producer over the last year and a bit. I really hope that was valuable to you. If you want even more value, feel free to join the producer Discord in the description. And please like and subscribe. We're on the road to 2,000 subscribers, so please help out with that. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.